organizations representative, the leader of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference in Los Angeles, my friend, Reverend William Smart.
Thank you very much. Let's take a moment and give Bob Farrell a hand. Very few people could have me on a Wednesday prayer meeting night, brave the 110 and come during traffic time and come down to San Pedro. I mean, not to mention I love it down here. I used to work down here with Dave on a project and some others, and I really enjoy this area of Los Angeles. This is an exciting time. This is actually today is Dr. King's real birthday. You know, we have the Monday holiday act that we celebrate on Monday, but today, the 15th, in 1929, he was born. And his whole life was a life of activism and centered around not just helping people, but empowering people, starting a movement. He didn't ask for it, but he was called into it by people like us, everyday people that wanted to see some significant changes in their lives. When you look at, and similar in some ways to Miss Kent, who as a nun, she was called into sacred service also. And art is so significant, even in the midst of a movement, because three things that art allows you to do. It gives a picture of the present for those that are there. It helps to reinterpret what they see at that particular time. The second thing that art does, it helps us in the future who can look back, like I look back on her art and I can reminisce and I can think about things and I can imagine what she was thinking and what the movement was. The third thing that art does, it points us to a better time, because artists are always some of the most positive people, and she was a very positive person. And so we have to intertwine that. Whenever there's a movement, there has to be different axioms in that movement. There has to be art. There has to be singing. Singing was so important. There's speeches that are documented, that move people, that inspire people, that take them from where they are to where we have to be. Speeches has changed America, and then it's the action that all of us accentuate in such a positive way that really helps to bring about a movement. So this is a movement. We're part of a movement tonight. On the night of Martin Luther King's birthday, we're part of a significant movement, and we can applaud yourself. That we're doing something different. We're bringing two significant entities together, arts and the civil rights that were always apart, always doing it together. I'm from Connecticut. I'm from Connecticut. I grew up in Connecticut, and in 1968, I was just 9 years old, and that event, that Thursday night, April 4th, 1968, Bewitched was on, and she was about to zap somebody, and I can never forget, we interrupt this broadcast for emergency announcement, and they announced Dr. Martin Luther King, and my mother ran to the door screaming. My father had to pull her back in the house. Next day, I found out from most of my classmates the same thing had happened, and that was a significant time. And we have to ask ourselves, after that has happened, the last some 40, 50 years since then, what have we done to really change in America? And when we could come together and have people like Dave Arian, who's on the front lines, not just in the labor movement, but in the housing market, changing the housing patterns down here in San Pedro, and Bob Farrell. I regret I wasn't in LA when he was a city councilman because of his gentleness and his love for people. But we made a difference. We don't always see it. We don't always feel it. I went from Connecticut down to Birmingham, Alabama, because I was determined to get in the South. And I went to school with a couple of kids that had been on the front line when the dogs of Bull Connor had attacked them. And they always had a significant different approach to life. I sat around them, it was just three of them. Now, Holes Miles College, there's just 3 of them, but they always had a significantly different approach on life. That life was just more than a struggle, but that life, that you could make things better if you struggled, if you fought for it. When others would give up, these students were always the fighters that say, oh, we can. Because something was inculcated and embedded in them at a very young age. When you see the art, I'm glad young people can come here and see the art. That helps to embed something in them. When they see the pictures of Martin Luther King's visit here, and they understand who he was and how Kenneth Hahn was one of the only people that was it Kenneth or Kenneth was one of the only person that welcomed him here. Only political leader to do that. And they look and understand that history. That changes people. That moves us. That motivates us. Art motivates us. Pictures, documents of a historical event helps to motivate us. And this event this is the first, well, there have been other King events, but we have a schedule going around of all the events. This is the first one. This has motivated me. And thank you. God bless you.